All right, shout out to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all joining us for this episode, the recap stream for Tough Tiger Talk, man. Y'all guys witnessed the matchup, man. Another loss by the LSU Tigers to open up the season, and they really pooped the bed on this one. To be honest with y'all guys, LSU had every opportunity to win this game, and basically couldn't put it together, man. They go down with another loss to open the season. This is three straight years that we've seen LSU, man, open up the season with a loss. So big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the live on this one. Man, what can I tell you, man? What can I tell you? Another sad opening to the season. It started off actually pretty well, man, but then in the end, it just went the way uh, we didn't want to see it, man. So a good matchup, by the way, for to give a credit to USC. They handled the business. They took care of the business and they pulled out a win. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. How very disappointing, man. How very disappointing. Big up to you guys, man. Appreciate y'all being in alive. Man, what can I tell y'all, man? What can I tell you? Big ups to you guys, man. Watching this, man. Goodness gracious, man. I mean, listen, let's just get into these statistics, fam. We'll try to, I know we got the post game that'll come up here with Coach Kelly. We'll see about him. But LSU, man, couldn't get this together, man. They had the opportunities. The defense on that back drive, it was just too soft, man. They were allowing them to move the ball, the stupidness of the soft calling defensively, missed calls by the officials, the pushing off, just a lot of stuff. But in the end, we just couldn't capitalize. They had an opportunity. So big ups to you guys, man. Let's hit these statistics, man. And of course, you guys put your comments in the comment section, the questions in the comment section for this one, man. Let's get into it. Tough Tiger Talk recap stream. I'm Big Q. Hit the like button, man. We up in this thing. Look at some of the stats. First down statistics. First downs. LSU trailed USC 24-21 in the matchup. Third down, LSU was 5 of 13. USC 3 for 9. Fourth down, they were 1 of 2 versus 0 for 1 for South Carolina. For South Cal, SoCal, USC. And then, of course, you see the numbers. Ridiculous amounts of passing, 447 yards passing by USC versus LSU's 421. The passings 378 to 304. The quarterbacks were really good. This quarterback, Miller, was really awesome for USC. He came to play. He was making the really serious passes or more consistently. I mean, the guy was getting knocked around, but he still was serious and stood in the pocket and just really delivered for USC tonight. I mean, I got to give him all the credit in the world. The dude was fantastic, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I can't say nothing wrong about how he performed. He was awesome. He averaged 10 yards, fam, every time he read back to throw the damn ball. So that's a first down. Every time he threw the ball, it was a first down. 10.2 yards versus 8 yards flat by Nussmeier. You're looking, and of course, the interception at the back end of the game. LSU did run the ball very well, 117 yards off of 26 carries. That's 4.5 yards per carry. They held USC rushing attack down 69 yards off of 23 attempts. That's 3 yards, but really killed LSU. It's the damn penalties, too. 10 penalties for 100 yards tonight. You know, that wasn't really a good look for LSU's team. 6 for 50 was for USC. They did everything they were supposed to do, and LSU controlled the clock for almost 33 minutes in this game versus 27:03 by USC. They did whatever they needed to do to win this game. And of course, you look at the quarterback comparison here. Garrett Nussmeier was 29 of 38 for 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick toward the back end, a meaningless pick trying to make something happen. Millard Moss was 27 of 36 for 378 yards in the touchdown. They got something good in that kid. That dude was playing, man. He was out there making the throws. He was handling the business. He was really doing a solid job for USC. The rushing attack, like I said, John Emery Jr., good to see him carrying the ball. He had 10 carries for 61 yards. The longest was a 39 rip that he had. Josh Williams, 9 for 33. Caleb Jackson, 6 for 18. Xavier Thomas, 1 for 5. USC's guy, Woody Marks, had 16 carries for 68 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. They thought they were going to hit him with the field goal. Those people just sucker punched the shit out of LSU for a touchdown, and they finished strong. That was a rub your face in it moment, that last touchdown right there, because they could have just took the field goal and kicked LSU into a loss, but they decided to get extra funky with it. Hey, man, I ain't bad at it, man. That's what it's all about, right? Man, terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. All right, anyway, going on to the wide receiver series, as Kyron Lacy, 7 catches for 94 yards in the score. Aaron Anderson had 5 for 64 in the score. Mason Taylor, 7 for 62. And then we had Xavier Thomas, 2 for 23. CJ Daniels had 3 for 19. Pimpton had 1 for 14. USC's guys, Kyron Hudson was big in this game. 5 catches for 83 yards. Dude was just making plays. Zachariah Branch was damn near unstoppable. In the kick return game, helped him doing some stuff. Jacoby Lane scored a touchdown, 3 catches for 50 yards. You go over to the defense, you can see how everything kind of worked out for them as well. And then, of course, it's just one of those things where USC, man, started out, and, man, I thought in the game LSU really had something going on good. The first half of the contest was actually, to be honest with you, was interesting. Like I said, it was interesting. But in the second half, USC just came out. They made less penalties. They got away with a few things, some push-offs that I seen happening. But in the end, LSU had opportunities to do it. Nussmeier scrambling out of the goddamn pocket, had Anderson off to the right and threw the ball into the ground. I don't know how he did that. That was a very pivotal play with him scrambling right and couldn't make the connection. It almost seems like Nussmeier started off really strong in the game, and then toward the back end of the game, he just kind of teetered off and just died. Like he was rolling out and had a easy pass to the receiver and just threw it in the ground at his feet. There wasn't no real pressure on him on the play, just throwing it on the run, just threw it in the ground. And, it's just then that drive there, basically, they had to settle for a touchdown. They were in the red zone. They convert there. More than likely, they steal the momentum as well as the game. But that's what happened when you don't seize the opportunities, and the opportunities are bigger than you. And LSU go down in flames, 27-20. They open up the season for the 3rd year in a row, 0-1. That's the bad news. The good news is that besides seeing that happen to LSU, we've seen also from from a record standpoint, we see LSU ultimately rebound and then come back the following a game and then get some stuff. Because we know with Coach Kelly here, they've averaged 10 wins a season, but getting a win against USC would have been nice to have. And unfortunately, we fell short in the game. USC came to play. They capitalized. What can I tell you, man? I'm not mad at them. Congratulations to USC. And once again, it's back to the drawing board for USC to try to for LSU to get this shit correct, man, so we can get ready for the next contest. And we'll see how all that goes too, man. It's just, man, watching this game, man, another damn broken heart game. I just wanted this win, man. I wanted this damn win. I wanted this goddamn win. I wanted it, man. But they'll get one next week. LSU's next matchup will be against Nicholls, who are 0-1. And this is basically a cupcake game that'll be in Death Valley next Saturday at 6:30 p.m. So LSU will have to will challenge Nicholls, and more than likely, we'll see what that looks like before they go South Carolina, then UCLA, stuff like that. But Nicholls is next week, and it's just what it is right now. They had this game, man. They had the damn game. They had it. I just don't get it, man. Nussmeier looked good. Now the points on it. Let's talk from a perspective of what we seen based on last year. Coach Baker running the defense. The defense for large portions of the game was very positive. I have to say the defense was positive for most of the game. They were able to get pressure in the second half. A couple of sacks on Miller, and they did some positive things. They even stifled the running attack. USC only had 63 odd yards, 60 odd yards rushing the ball for the entire game. So that was a positive based on what we seen last year. But the passing attack, and I like how Ashton Stamps played. Don't be too hard on Ashton Stamps. He was solid. The touchdown that the wide receiver had got, the only passing touchdown that he received, the guy pushed off and the referee didn't call it. He got a push off on him. So it was one of those type of situations where we have to watch and seen it. And like I was saying, there were a couple of things that Coach Kelly was mad at the officials for because they didn't do a really good job of officiating this game, in my opinion. Too much pushing off that they allowed to happen on some of these catches. Even the catch where the guy had his elbow to make the catch inbound, the cornerback was grabbing on him, pulling on him, and that wasn't a flag. So a lot of loose calls by the officials, but still in all, it was a 3-point loss, and LSU should have won this game, man. So this stinks. This really freaking stinks, man. And I know Coach Kelly is upset by this, man. I'm freaking upset by this, man. I'm upset by this. I'm sick of seeing LSU start the season off losing. It's just one of them things where you just get tired of seeing. I'm tired of seeing them open up the season losing these games like it. All right, so anyway, let's and of course let's talk about the offense. Garrett Nussmeier was pretty good early on. Then he kind of teetered off, but this was a pretty decent game. He couldn't, and that's the difference. Like we know, Nussmeier is not Jaden Daniels, right? He's not Jaden Daniels, and we didn't see him scramble. The only opportunity he could have made a play outside of the pocket, he threw the damn ball in the ground. And it's just one of them situations where you think about it like a decent defense in the country would have gave us a national championship. And I know I'm going back in the day with this, but we had the offense last year. We just needed the defense, just one that was halfway there in college, and we would have had something last year. Now, this year, my expectations were not as high as they were last year because I knew we'll be dealing with offensively speaking. I think we'll have a much better defense this year. Ashton Stamps played solidly. Even Woodland, the opposite cornerback, they were testing him and he did a pretty decent job. Now he got hit with a pass interference a couple of times against the guy there, but he's a youngster out there trying to make his way. Major Burns with a dumb play. We had the guy with the helmet situation that set all this up. And then the LSU team, just the composure of LSU later on in the game, they just the hell apart. And USC didn't. My goodness, did y'all see that? I don't know if I'm going to call it a 2-minute offense that USC orchestrated to march down the damn field on LSU. They did not make one incompletion. LSU didn't provide any resistance. They just marched down the field with the 2-minute offense, all calm and composed, and basically went down there and took the game away from LSU. The defense didn't provide any real resistance. They were with weak zone. The guy got beat on the play to get upfield because he didn't jam the guy at the line of scrimmage. Why didn't he jam him? He just let him run right past him and get right where we needed to be to make the catch. So that stuff is going to have to, that'll, I guess, will happen, will improve. I have no doubt that I have to kind of rest on that to say to myself that I think ultimately that gets better. But my goodness, man, in the end, I just don't like how and what happened today with the Tigers tonight and how they played, man. Just in terms of how they finished the game, I am very disappointed in that. All right, let's hear from you guys. What you think about what happened tonight, fam? Please chime in. All right, Josh says embarrassing. Yes, indeed. Shout out to you, Josh. Appreciate you for being in the stream. All right, Big J says number 3 and number 8 on defense couldn't cover me and Big Q. Hold on, brother. Hey, listen, brother. I got some skills here, brother. Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you, Big J. All right. Rose said the secondary couldn't cover a twin mattress with a bed sheet. A fam. They allowed, let me get back to the team stats, the LSU secondary. Now, we've seen some individual performances by certain players, but let's not be twisted on um, on the stats. The damn defense gave up some big yardage. They gave up 378 yards today. 300 and almost 400 yards through the air, but the up front guys held them to 60. So the defense got torched for 300, almost 400 yards today. Then you couple that with the fact that they had almost 100 yards worth of penalties in a close game. That ain't gonna bode well for you, not at all. All right. Okay, shout out to you. Romulus says, fight on, go the rest of the way. Oh, yeah. Well, we used to this now. We are used to this now, aren't we? We are used to seeing this happen. We are used to seeing this type of stuff happen for LSU starting the season off under the Brian. That's really the only negative thing I can say about Coach Kelly in the 3 years that he's been here is that they, for the third consecutive year, started the year off with a loss. And that's not really a good thing, to be honest with you. And I just don't know what to say about it. But in the end, all we can see is that LSU, man, they got to turn the corner and they got to get this together. And I think they'll pull off and get a W up against a Nichols club. That's who they got up next. So, we'll see how it all goes, fam. But my goodness, man, this wasn't a good look by LSU, man, to lose for the third straight year, the opener, But anyway, all right, big ups to you guys as well. All right, Rose says, damn, the officials, LSU shot themselves in the foot, suspect vanilla play calling at the end. Like, come on, bro. Yeah, my thing is, why didn't the defense lock in? They basically played soft and allowed USC to march the ball up the field and basically set up the touchdown. Now, they were playing for the field goal, but then Lincoln Riley said, you know what, let's just kick them in their ass and get the touchdown. Let's punch them in their face and get on up out of here. And you can see for most of the game, Brian Kelly just didn't look comfortable, did he? Brian Kelly didn't look comfortable at all in this game. If you think about it, if you go back and look at some of how he was marching up and down the sideline, he didn't look comfortable at all in this game. He really didn't. Brian Kelly didn't look comfortable at all against this team, and his face and all that kind of stuff was going on. It was just not. He just looked sour. He just looked really sour in the game, man. Looked very sour. So we'll see how it all looks, how it all focuses moving forward. But I expect him to kind of handle some business, retool, and come back at Nichols, and then they have South Carolina after that. But my goodness, this wasn't a good look for the third straight year for LSU. Not a good look. But let me ask you guys something. Y'all quiz me. Let me quiz you guys. Put it in the chat. What do you think about Doug Nussmeier? We know we've seen Garrett Nussmeier. Doug is the father, but we've seen Nussmeier, Garrett in small servants throughout the years for the team under his guidance this year. What do you guys think about it? Now beyond what I've seen tonight from Garrett Nussmeier, me personally, because his numbers wasn't bad, but he just didn't take over the game when you needed to. And that's the thing that we like about Nussmeier, is that he is an exciting young quarterback to watch, but he doesn't have the Joe Burrow or the Jaden Daniels effect. Jaden Daniels would have took over the game and ran around the edges and would have outran everybody, but he's a once in a lifetime type of quarterback. Nussmeier had an opportunity to cement or start basically to start his legacy tonight, and he shrunk in a moment of it. The last drive of the game for LSU to be able to put a touchdown together, and LSU couldn't capitalize. Nussmeier threw the ball in the ground, at the foot or before the foot of the receiver. When he was scrambling off to the right side, he had the receiver there, and he fired the ball into the ground, scrambling on the run. And I'm like, how the hell did you do that? What is that about? So in the end, and to be honest with you, and perhaps my opinion of the team will move on, but me personally, from doing Tough Tiger Talk for all this time, this is my thoughts of this year, and this could very well change. I could be very well wrong here. Let me see if you guys agree with me on this. This season to me is not LSU's year. And I'm an LSU guy, true and true, y'all know. But in my opinion, when I arrived this year and I started talking about or thinking about this team and breaking down and dissecting the team, in my opinion, I was originally looking at the team and I'm saying, hey man, I don't think this year is the year for LSU. I'm thinking it'll be more like next year with that excellent class that we have, and we're building on something special next year. And it's simply because we had so many questions around what Coach Baker can do with the defense. Can the secondary perform? Can they step up and crystallize and become a solid unit? I knew we were going to run the ball because we have a solid running back room. I knew Kyron Lacey would step up, Hilton, and these guys were going to play big for him. But could Nussmeier take advantage of that? You see what I'm saying? Because they would need the running attack. Like they used the running attack pretty decently today. They just, when the times presented themselves, because it was a close game, the defense, despite giving up almost 400 yards through the air, the defense still did enough, very much did enough in this game to at least hold a low score and to keep it close. And like I said, the former offensive series, LSU had an opportunity to put it out of the reach, and they Nussmeier failed miserably to do it. And then, of course, when we needed the defense to make a stop against USC when they got the ball back for the final time, they didn't do a damn thing. They allowed them to march the field. So it's a lot of questions I have with this team when they start matching up with big teams. USC was far from perfect today. Far from perfect, but did enough to knock LSU in their head. We had a lot of family members, the supporters in the stands that were doing a good job of cheering the team on. It's just what it is. All right. Jason says, fight on, go Trojans. All right. Congratulations to you, Jason, and the Trojans, man. Y'all won a hard-fought game. Y'all, that quarterback, Miller, y'all got something there with that guy. That guy is composed. He makes all of the throws. Besides getting knocked on his ass and rattled, he still stood in there and made the plays. He stood up and took care of business. And when he needed to take care of business, when they needed a big throw, guess what? Miller made the throw, despite pressure in his face. And LSU was getting to him more than USC was getting to Nussmeier. LSU was rattling him and knocking him on his ass, but he didn't allow that to rattle him. He stayed in there and he made the throws. He made the plays when they needed him to make the plays and to make the throws all damn night long. He did it. 27 of 37. And listen, the man, let me say it again for the people in the back, he averaged over 10 yards per throw, family. That means every time Miller for USC threw the ball, it was a first down. Every time. He averaged 10.2 yards per throw. He averaged a first down every time he threw the ball, and he had 27 of 37 throwing the ball. My goodness. So like I was saying, I don't see that right now unless something radically changed, because Nussmeier, this is a big stage for Nussmeier to be on, right? And we seen him play in the bowl game last year. He played well in that, but this is his team now. He needs to step forward and do some stuff. And in this game, when he had an opportunity to win it on the last offensive series, he failed miserably. So another thing. All right, Big J says, taught in high school, cover two, you jam the receipt. That's right. To throw off the timing for the whole shot, Sage let him free release, then get a target on that. Yes, indeed. I don't know what he was looking at. I don't know what he was thinking about. And Sage Ryan is not a guy that is new here. He's been here before. I don't know. But my thought process is looking at it coming into this year was this LSU team is not a team I believe will do anything spectacular. And I'm not shooting them down. I'm just being honest, because I think the true talented team is the 2025 team, the team that's coming next year with all of that fantastic top ranked talent we had. One of the, the best quarterback in college, all that type of stuff. That's when I think the best receiver, all that kind of stuff, all the stuff that they have in 2025. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, here we go. But this rendition this year under Nussmeier, I have so many questions with that. So yeah, Rose said, yeah, the defense is still mediocre, still. And it's half, right? Let's be honest. The secondary allowed almost 378 yards. The rushing attack, they stopped the rushing attack. They held them to like 63 yards, right, off of 3 carries. LSU had a lot of penalties, a lot of suspect no calls by the officials, but in the end, it was close enough for them to win. We just didn't take it. We didn't get it. So I don't know. But what I do know is LSU should be able to win next week. Hey, guess what? We didn't. Let me give y'all some good news before I go. We didn't win. We didn't win tonight, but I promise you guys that we'll win next week. I promise you we'll be 1-1 next week because we have Nichols to play. We have Nichols University. We'll play Nichols next week, and we should be able to beat them. If we don't, then all hell has fallen, and there'll be hell to pay. Oh my goodness, what are we doing here? What's happening? But anyway, let me put this on the screen, fam. Here go the schedule right here. After the USC loss right here at 0-1, you see Nichols is there. And that'll be at Death Valley. Then we have South Carolina on the road. Then we have 3 games at home. We got UCLA, another California team coming. South Alabama, Ole Miss, who tore somebody up this week. I forgot who it was. They tore it up. Scored like 60 points, I want to say, on them, or whatever they did. Lane Kiffin tore them up. And then, of course, we have a couple of road games against Arkansas and Texas A&M. We come home for Alabama, a Nick Sabanless Alabama team. We go to Florida, we got Vanderbilt, and then Oklahoma. This schedule here it looks very interesting because Arkansas always plays us tough. So does Texas A&M. Both of those are away games. Very interesting. Ole Miss is not going to be easy, right? We know Florida has been struggling. Napier, they already gave him the call that they're going to fire him at the end of the year. You have Vanderbilt at home, then you close the year against Oklahoma, and that won't be easy either. So this is the schedule that we have remaining coming up, man. How do you guys feel about this? How do you guys feel about this schedule? How many games do LSU win of this schedule? In you guys' humble estimations, how many games do you think they get? Something else, man. It's very interesting at all. But yeah, that's my thought on it, man. I'm looking at it to myself and I'm saying that I don't know what's going to happen. I know they'll beat Nichols next week. But in the long run, my goodness, we had the damn game. I keep playing it in my head. We had it. We had the game. We had it. We had it. We had it. We had it. And we had it some more. And then we dropped it. But hold on, fam. Let me, before I turn you loose, let me react to Coach Kelly. We got the post press conference. I was waiting for Coach Kelly to get up here so he can explain what happened tonight and why LSU laid a big stinking rotten egg. Why they laid a rotten egg to USC. Couldn't seize the day, couldn't make it pop, couldn't make it shake. But hold on, family. Give me a second. Let me tune this up so that we can get it right and get it over with here. I'm waiting, trying to get this going. Hold on. And like I said, Coach Kelly was not himself, man. He was kind of really just like he was constipated. You know what I'm saying? Brian Kelly, like he was constipated all damn night. He just looked uncomfortable. He looked miserable. It just wasn't cool watching him. He just looked like he was constipated all damn night. Here you go, fam. I'm sorry about the sound. That's their sound. Let me see if I can turn it up for you.
Ourselves. You got to have a killer instinct in this game. You got to put teams away. We had an opportunity to put this team away, and we get complacent. We make more mistakes when we're ahead instead of having a better focus and a steely-eyed killer instinct, and that's disappointing. And so I'm angry at those things that I have to do a better job in shaping that in this group, because we had guys that played hard tonight. I mean, we had guys that wanted to win and were prepared to win. But those two things just, eat at me, and, they got to get fixed. Um, so with that, I'll open up to the questions.
In the second half, like you said, not being able to maybe take advantage of opportunities to put UNC away. What exactly, when you look at it, went wrong in those moments?
There's a host of situations. We had a couple of false start penalties. We started behind the chains a couple of times. Wasn't probably our best execution. We don't have a cutoff on the backside on one. We don't, we don't run the route correctly. I mean, there was a number of different things, and they were based solely on the inability to execute at a high level when our best was needed offensively. We were not able to deliver. Now, we battled, and look, here's what I'm going to tell you. You get inside the 15-yard line 3 times and you come away with 6 points, that's going to come back and beat you. And so we can talk about missed blocks and not executing and not doing this and not doing that. We left a lot of points out there. We went up and down the field, but if you don't score points when you're down inside the red zone, like we did not do tonight, you're going to lose a one-possession game like we did tonight. And we put way too much pressure on our defense to be something that they're not ready to be. They battled, but we have warts, and they're not going away overnight. They got better, but our offense needed to be better because we needed to score in those situations, and that's just the way it needed to be. And coming up with 6 points with 3 possessions inside the 15 is just not good enough.
What did you see in that defense? You talked about them being better. Obviously, a nice challenge with their receivers and tight ends.
I think our defensive tackle play was much better. I think our edge play was better. I think we tackled pretty good. We competed on the edge. I think we were competitive. I just think overall it's connected better. We've got to get better in some areas, but, it's a cohesive, connected group that plays hard. They played really, really hard. And they didn't execute at the end as well as we would have liked, but that's probably it.
Brian, here. You guys really times struggle to get our game going at times in this game. Just talk about some of the inconsistencies you saw there.
but we had over 400 yards in total offense. We weren't able to put the ball in the end zone when we really needed to. And so this is much more about being a much better and efficient offense in the red zone than it is the failings of the inability to run. We ran the ball well enough to set up everything else that we needed to do. Do I want to run the ball better? Absolutely. There's no doubt. I think our execution needs to get better. But having said that, we ran the ball well enough to win this game. But you can't win it if you don't score touchdowns in the areas that we win, or come away with nothing from the 3-yard line.
Brian, I know it's game one, but were you surprised and were taken aback by just the number of penalties and kind of the nature of some of them tonight?
Well, I mean, I've already commented on the 2 personal foul penalties. They impacted the game. And they're from veterans and from guys that know better and are leaders. And I have to look at myself and say, I have to do better because they're not getting the message. So, we had the 2 penalties there. Clearly that impact, those 2 penalties impacted the game. We had a couple of false start penalties. We had a PI that, I thought one was clearly a PI. The other one was, could have gone either way. 10 is too many. Let's put it that way. 10 is too many, but 2 personal foul penalties that set up scores is unacceptable.
Josh?
Coach, is it disappointing when you have Savion Jones kind of really rose up, Aaron Anderson, John Emery, that kind of puts you in position? Is it disappointing when those guys perform and you think they'll get a victory?
Hell yes. I mean, and that's what I said to the team. I said, we had some guys played their butts off tonight, and we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again talking about the same things, about not finishing when you have an opponent in a position to put them away. But what we're doing on the sideline is feeling like the game's over. And I'm so angry about it that I got to do something about it. I'm not doing a good enough job as a coach. And I got to coach them better because it's unacceptable for us not to have found a way to win this football game. It's ridiculous. And
Time for a couple more. Excuse me.
Crazy.
Garrett Nussmeier, just how would you assess his performance tonight overall?
I think Garrett did some really good things. I think there's probably a couple that he would like back. I think there's like any first game really, against a good opponent. I think he did enough for us to win the football game. But when we needed a couple of plays, I think there's a couple of things he'd like to do better, but he's going to be really good for us, and he'll get better from today.
Last.
Brian mentioned how you take pressure off the defense. You were saying is not quite right. How do you navigate that over the course of a season? Like, how much do you need the offense to basically execute, close to perfection every week to be able to win games?
No, I wouldn't call USC's offense, pedestrian. They've got some good athletes. I thought the quarterback played well tonight. He outplayed our quarterback. He made the plays when he needed to. I thought our defense took a step forward from last year. But we have to, when I say complimentary football, we have to help them as well. Like, we can't be 3 and out and then put them back on the field. We have to be able to help our defense in certain situations. It just felt like we never helped each other tonight. And that's what I was referring to in terms of, playing. I felt like as a team, this is a better team that we have we're missing some of the, explosive weapons, but that doesn't mean you can't be a better football team. For us to be the kind of football team I want, we have to eliminate the foolish mistakes. We have to be able to have a mindset that when we have an opponent down, we have to be able to go for the have that killer instinct. And then finally, we have to be able to play off of each other much better. And that will help our defense the most. Thank you.
Michael, we doing first? Yeah. All right, that was Coach Brian Kelly, man. Boy, he got really animated, man. And he got really animated, man, on the play. He's frustrated. We're frustrated. Let me bring it back. You can see right there in his face. Like I said, we might have to, all family, y'all put one in the chat if y'all are happy with the frustration of Coach Kelly. Put one in the chat if you appreciate the anger. Because he's most of the times, the majority of the times, he's pretty reserved. But to see him upset and pound the desk, let me see if I can get that right there. Look at that. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Good. Good. Come on over to the dark side. The anger is strong in this one. Indeed. Yes. Yeah. After a humiliating loss like that, that's what you want to see from your coach. And like I said, Brian Kelly is usually pretty reserved. But for him, like I said, for most of the game I was watching him, he looked constipated. But it's always good to see him display this and pounds the table. Yes. Yes. There you go, Coach Kelly. I'm going to have to kind of make that. I'm going to have to freeze that part where he slammed it. Hold on right there. Yeah, sure. And he kind of just, showing the anger. And he kind of got frustrated. And rightfully so, because we're tired of this, man. This guy is a winner, man. This guy is a winner. He likes to win because he prepares to win. And there it is right there. He pounds the table. And that kind of shook up the room too, because this is out of character for Brian Kelly. You don't usually see him this way. He's usually reserved and confined. But for a brief second, he pulled back the curtain and the frustration. That's what I'm talking about. He said he's got to do something about it. Because the reality is, man, like I was showing you guys before about the schedule, LSU doesn't have an easy schedule. They really don't, fam. They got some games they got to play. Y'all know what I mean? They got some games they got to play. Let me see if I can put that back up here so y'all can see this. This was a big letdown. LSU had a supreme opportunity to open up the season, getting a good matchup here, winning a good game here. And they got some games against some tough teams coming up. Now, we know Nichols. We'll go back to angry Coach Kelly in a second. But if you take a look at some of these other games that LSU has to play after losing to USC, they got Nichols next Saturday. And then behind them is at South Carolina, at home against UCLA. Then they got South Alabama, which is, considered one of these cupcake games. Nichols is South Alabama, that is. And then the rest of the way is SEC schedule. Ole Miss, who showed you, that Lane Kiffin's coming. They're top 6 team. You got Arkansas and Texas A&M, which Texas A&M fought really well too this week. They lost, but I think they lost. I want to say they lost, but they were entrenched. Let me see if I can pull up after I go through the schedule. I'm kind of pull up my SEC stuff and kind of go through the top 26 of what happened this so far in the season. I mean, in the first week. And what's really interesting is, like I said, none of this stuff is going to be easy for LSU moving forward. You know, they got to fix a lot of this. They got Arkansas and Texas on the road. And both of those teams always seem to give us some difficulty in their building. We got Alabama, November the 9th, you know, after the bye. Well, is that a bye between them? No, I think that's a bye there. And then, of course, you have Florida, which we should be able to take care of business of, Vanderbilt, and then we close out against Oklahoma. And you know, do we have 10 wins here? Do we have another 10-win season that LSU is going to do? Is there 10 wins here for LSU? Even if we allow one more loss, 2-loss team in the SEC, that depends on a lot. Now, of course, they got rid of the East and West, so it's just one super conference. But we'll see how it all shakes, man. But this is an angry Coach Brian Kelly that I can appreciate right here. Good. The anger in this one is the dark side is strong in this one. He gonna pull out his lightsaber, and start cutting down some stuff, because that shouldn't have happened, what we seen with the offense. And he mentioned the red zone woes, going down there and not scoring the last drive in particular. I'm talking about, now he may mention of those others, but it was the last offensive series where Garrett Nussmeier had a chance. They were in the red zone, and instead of getting a touchdown, which would have changed the outlook of the game, LSU would have won the game, basically. Doug Nussmeier scrambles out of the pocket. He's flushed out to the right and threw the ball into the ground, then had another ugly throw on the following play that forced him to kick the field goal. And USC said they don't want it, march up the field, and punched him in the face with a late touchdown. That was supposed to be a field goal, but they said, let's just go ahead and run it. And they close it out, you know, in fashion. And that's what's pissed off Brian Kelly, because they could have just kicked the field goal, but they wanted a touchdown. A field goal would have done it, but they just wanted that. That was a slap in his face. He really wanted this one, and I wanted it too. But in the end, we'll see what happens. We'll monitor this stuff going into the upcoming week. We'll get more of an intricate, more preview of the Nicholls game. We'll hear from Coach Kelly, because I know he's going to turn it up all next week. He's going to get to the bottom of the offense, figure out what they need to do, make sure they don't play, make sure they play with a lot more, a lot more intelligence and less miscues. And see, like I said, losing 3 straight years, that is frustrating to open up the season with a loss. And it happened to what happened to Florida State in 2 consecutive years, and then happens again tonight with USC. So very sad. But anyway, listen, I'm gonna get on out of here. Listen, I appreciate all you guys. If you hadn't had an opportunity, please subscribe to Tough Tiger Talk. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Please feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Looking at angry Coach Kelly pounding the table. He ain't pounding some bitch hard enough because it didn't knock his water over, but you got to give him credit for at least getting upset, man. You know, there you go. And that's what I'm talking about, man. We gotta get it right, man. We got to get it right, man. We got to fix this, man. This is not LSU football. This is not what it's supposed to be. Brian Kelly's here to win. And this is not going to cut it, my friends. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to get out on that. Much love to you guys. I'll be back later on in the week. Much love, and go Tigers.